This is a mental model that I found extremely useful for being more effective at takedowns when I do jiu-jitsu myself, on the rare occasions when I cover jiu-jitsu classes, and when I coach rugby athletes in the tackle area. If you operate in one of these disciplines or any other sport in which takedowns or tackling is an important area, I think you might find it useful. So firstly, let's begin with a question. Why is it that after more than 3,000 years, the pyramids are still standing today? In a word, stability. They're incredibly stable structures. But why? If we dig a little bit deeper, the answers are one, they're very heavy. Two, they have a low center of gravity. They're fat at the bottom and skinny at the top. Three, they have a wide base of support. And four, that mass sits well within the base of support. But now let's flip it on its head and ask the question, what would be the most effective way to topple the pyramids? We would, of course, design them in the opposite way. We would make them very light, very top heavy, a narrow base, and we would use leverage to push that mass outside its base of support until it toppled. And human beings are no different to the pyramids. A standing opponent is a stable structure, albeit a dynamic one. And to take them down, we need to make that structure unstable. We obviously can't make the ball carrier or the opponent lighter. They're going to weigh what they weigh. But we can use a combination of the other three factors to topple an opponent and bring them to the ground. Nearly all takedowns and tackles involve getting into a mechanically advantageous position so that we can elevate the other person's center of mass, typically by getting our hips in and under the other guys. Next, narrow the base. We can do that by taking away one of the 2 feet, cutting in half the base of support, or by moving them closer together so that they occupy a smaller area. Lastly, we need to create leverage to push the center of mass, which we'll define as the hips, outside the base of support to topple the structure. It's important to remember, though, that the other guy gets a vote, and anytime we create instability in their structure, they're going to fight back to regain that stability by doing all of the things that we already talked about. They're going to lower their center of mass, they're going to widen their base of support, and they're going to reorient their weight so that it's more central to that base. So for that reason, we can't just create instability. We need to create the kind of instability that they can't recover from. And there are 2 ways to do this. One is to move their center of mass somewhere they physically cannot regain their base. And the other is to move their center of mass somewhere where they can regain their base, but physically block them from doing so. And that right there is the model. I've personally found, both as an athlete and as a coach, that having this principles-based approach to work backwards from is much easier to remember under the pressure of competition and much easier to adapt and modify when I find myself in unpredictable or chaotic situations, which is every sport ever. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a follow. And if you're a rugby player, watch this space, as I'm going to be releasing a course in the coming months on the application of grappling principles to the tackle area in rugby. Thanks.